So now that you know the acting terminology and you understand how to properly train, you're ready for your child to audition. There's just one small problem. Most auditions come from agents, and most agents want to see proof of work prior to signing your child, but you can't get work without an agent, so you can see the dilemma. There's a couple of ways of getting around this, and I'm going to walk you through each one. Getting an audition is the first step in getting on set, and there are several websites that you can sign up for to register your child for auditions in your area. And before I list them below, let me reiterate that without an agent, you have no one vetting these projects. So it is your responsibility to make sure you research each and every person associated with the production to be sure your child is working with reputable people. It's unfortunate that the acting industry draws unsavories, but it does. And you need to know how to protect your child. Vetting is one of the best ways to keep your child safe. Here's how. First, you want to Google their name. Find out everything you can about them. See how long they've been in the industry. What were they doing before this? Do they have a criminal record? How old are they, and why are they making this project? Have they made projects in the past? Which leads me to number 2. Look them up on IMDb. IMDb.com is International Movie Database, which will show all of the previous projects they were a part of. If you don't see any, and they're not a college student making a student film or a film student starting out, this should raise a red flag. I should also mention as a sidebar here that there is a pro version of IMDb that you can pay for annually, which will give you additional information under each person's profile, such as who is their agent, manager, entertainment lawyer, and there's a slew of other upgrades that come with the membership. But once your child books their first union job, you'll likely want to invest in the pro membership because you build a profile for your child, and it helps with marketing purposes in establishing your child as a professional actor. If you don't have IMDb Pro and there are other productions listed, Google them as well as the people associated with that production. If any of those people raise a red flag, step away from the project. Leave no stone unturned until you feel good about submitting your child to work with these people. Listen to your gut. If something is telling you it's off, it probably is. And the great thing about acting is there will always be another audition. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So now that we're keeping safety at the forefront, here's the list of the websites that offer auditions to actors both with and without representation. And please note, there are more than these, but these are the big players. ActorsAccess.com, Backstage.com, and CastingNetworks.com. All of the above websites come with a nominal monthly or yearly fee to access and submit unlimited auditions in your area. But they also come with a free version, which charges you per audition submission. And you can find out all of this information on their individual websites. You're going to find a lot of low budget films, student films, and open calls, nationwide or international searches, and sometimes SAG-AFTRA union roles. But most of the time, those go through an agency because they're looking for actors who have experience. But sometimes they open it up to the masses. Remember, time is money, and production doesn't like to gamble with inexperience, which is why they normally go through an agency. Additionally, Actors Access is widely used by casting directors and agencies as a way to upload auditions during the casting process and host virtual callbacks on their relatively new platform, EcoCast Live. Since Actors Access is the one most actors have to become intimately knowledgeable with as a working actor, this is the website I'm going to walk you through step by step. First, log on to ActorsAccess.com and click Register on the top right. This will bring up both plans available, the free version and the monthly or yearly subscription. The only difference between the two plans is submitting auditions and gaining access to their iOS app. So what does that mean in regards to the auditions? It means that Actors Access has a database of auditions that they allow members to view. But if you would like to submit your child, which means request to audition for that role, you're going to pay a $2 fee with an additional $3 fee to attach a performance video or demo reel, which we will get into more later if you're not a monthly or yearly subscriber. Actors Access Plus allows you to submit for unlimited auditions. So this is a personal choice that simply comes down to math. If your child wants to get out there and audition more than once a month, the yearly subscription would likely make sense. Let me walk you through how to register. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to register for the free version. You need to check that you are the parent or legal guardian registering on behalf of a minor, and click Next. Then you'll fill out your name, email, and electronic signature. Next, you'll need to fill out your child's information. And note, I always use my email and my phone number and never my child's. Once you fill out the information, you'll be sent a link to authenticate your email. Once you confirm your email, you'll be brought back to Actors Access, where you will need to log into your account with the password you just created. This is what you'll see each time you log on to Actors Access. The green box at the top is letting you know that you need to complete your child's profile with photos, a resume, size card, and slate shots if you choose. And I'll get into each one of those in more detail. And there is a great reminder to let you know that this is what casting sees when viewing submissions and audition materials. So let's start with the photos. You get 2 free photos to upload. What they mean by flexible is once your child has representation, an additional tab will appear beside Actors Access. And those 2 free pictures can reside on both of those tabs without any additional cost. My recommendation is to add 1 theatrical picture, which is typically a non-smiling or closed mouth smile photo, and a commercial photo, which is typically an open mouth smile, even if they don't have teeth. That shows a ton of personality since that's how commercials are normally booked, off personality. If you want to add more than 2 free photos, you can do so for a cost of $10 each. Now, slate shots are 7-second videos where casting can see your child speaking in the same outfit as their headshot. It's typically just a quick introduction.
Hi, my name is Camille Crenshaw.
There's mixed reviews about slate shots. Some casting directors say they are vital because when they search for an actor on Actors Access, those with slate shots come up first. Other casting directors say they're worthless and they don't watch them. But now that Actors Access has made them free, it probably doesn't hurt to upload. So make your own decision. Now that we're done with photos and slate shots, let's move on to resume. Now you may be immediately thinking, my child hasn't worked at all. I have nothing to put in here. I understand. I was there as well when my children were first starting out. And although casting directors would love to see production work, think outside the box. Has your child ever done a pageant, a talent show, volunteerism, theater for a local school or church, received an academic award? Anything that shows a casting director a little bit more about your child so they can get an understanding of who they may be working with is great. And as your child gains experience and works in the industry, come back and edit their resume so it's always up to date. And speaking of keeping things up to date, let's move on to the size card. This is where you're going to input all of your child's size information. Again, please be accurate and please keep this area up to date. I used to set an appointment reminder on my phone every 6 months so I could go back and update the sizes because that's typically how fast children are changing. Now, why is this important? Because you don't want your child to book a job only to find out that casting thought they were 3'5" and not 4'8", making them too tall for what they were looking for. These sizes are incredibly important. And once your child gains representation, their agent will be counting on you to keep this up to date so they can submit your child for the proper roles. If you have a demo reel of your child, you can also upload that under the media section. Again, a demo reel is a 1 to 3 minute video showcasing your child's acting abilities. Of course, most people starting off don't have this. It's completely acceptable to upload an audition, as long as it wasn't under an NDA, or a monologue, 30 seconds to a minute of a movie script or play, as your child's demo reel. It's also perfectly acceptable and encouraged to upload a skills video if your child has a special skill in dance, martial arts, gymnastics, stunts, swimming, skiing, skating, anything that casting could see as beneficial. I've seen kids simply tell a funny story or a joke as their demo reel. This falls under a personality slate, which we'll discuss in a few minutes, but can also work as a demo reel. And finally, there are acting schools that will create a demo reel for your child, but they are a little pricey. Plan on spending anywhere between $500 to $1,500 for a fully produced 1 to 3 minute demo reel. But keep this in mind before you spend that kind of money. The whole point of a demo reel when your child is first starting out is to show casting what their personality is. Kids are often booked on personality alone. So now that your child's profile is complete, let's look at how to get auditions. You're going to head to the top of the menu bar and click Breakdown. From there, hover over your country and then select your preferred region. Since I'm in Atlanta, I'm going to choose the Southeast as an example. Please note that you can select any region you want as long as you're willing to travel. Once you select your region, you will see all of the available auditions in the region. In the upper right-hand side, you can filter which auditions you would like to see. I'm going to select Kids Roles Only. The first column is showing me when the role was posted. The second column tells me the name of the project, and the third column tells me which type of production it is, a commercial, a film, etc. The fourth column shows me the casting director, and the fifth shows the start date, and the final column shows if it's a union job or not. So let's click on the first audition at the top. You'll see a box with submission instructions that states, always submit ASAP. Submitting within the first day of breakdown publication is highly recommended. This is important because casting directors normally only see a select number of actors. So if you're not one of the first to submit, they may close the casting call. Additionally, getting your audition in earlier rather than closer to the deadline increases your chances of booking as well. More on that later. The next part is the legal disclaimer. Don't skip over this. Read it and understand that you may not share any portion of any script that is posted on Actors Access. It is proprietary information and you can get sued if you don't comply. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't share any script on social media ever under any circumstances. Next, you're going to see all the information regarding the details of the project. The deadline for submission is clearly posted as well as all of the roles they're looking to cast. The roles that match your selection are highlighted in yellow. Make sure the role description matches your child, and if you would like to audition, simply select the role. From there, you're going to be prompted to add photos, media, and the size card. Simply add to cart, check out, and you're done. And remember, make sure you are vetting these projects before you submit for any of them. As you can see, the names of people who are producing these projects are clearly listed. Google them and get a comfort level before you allow your child to work with them. Safety first, always. There's also an added benefit of vetting each person in production because many times you can get an idea of the genre of films they've worked on in the past. Many directors, producers, and casting directors actually stay within the same genre of work, meaning if they started in horror or comedy or drama, a lot of times they stay there because people in the industry tend to stick with each other from project to project. So it's not abnormal to see the same team move from project to project. Finally, under My Tools, select My Account. And there you can sign up to have auditions that fit your child's demographic and preferred geographic location sent directly to you. You can opt for paid or unpaid gigs, union versus non-union, extra work, which is also known as background or non-speaking roles, or select multiple geographic locations if you're willing to travel. Also, you can always head to Breakdown Services to check out any scripts that you would like to print off for you and your child to practice. And here's a tip. If your child receives an invitation to audition, either through Actors Access or through an agent or manager if they have representation, make sure you are confirming or declining ASAP. This is because casting only has a limited number of slots to see actors, and if one declines, they can forward that invitation to another actor. Again, it's all part of being professional. Before I end this video, it's important to mention 2 additional skills that your child will need to master for auditioning. They are the slate and the personality chat. The slate is different from the slate shot. Slates are extremely common and are a part of almost every audition. A slate is simply your child stating their name, age, height, and any other information being requested by casting. It's typically head to shoulders, followed by a full body shot. So casting and production can see your child on camera and how their stature would potentially compare with other actors and the character for which they're auditioning.
Hi, my name is Ariel Jones. I'm auditioning for the role Pretty Girl, and I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Slates can be the worst part of putting your child on tape because for some reason, it is so much harder for your child to look directly into camera and state the information requested. I give you the following as an example. All my youngest daughter, Ariel, had to say was that she could work as a local in Rome, Georgia. And this is what we got.
I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I can be a Georgia romance thingy. So I can be a Rome, Georgia agent. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I can be a Rome in Georgia. I have faith in myself.
So as you can see, the slate can literally take longer than the audition. A good tip is to write all the information down on a sheet of paper in a Sharpie so they can see it and hold it right over the lens. So it looks like they're looking in camera, but they're actually reading the sheet just above it. A personality chat spawned mainly from COVID when casting directors weren't seeing actors in person and they still wanted to get to know them. I mean, after all, production was still casting kids that they would potentially spend months with on set. So they wanted to make sure that they knew a little something about this actor before committing to them and offering them the job. Most of the time, casting will give instructions or a prompt on what they want your child to talk about. But if they don't, your child can tell a funny story, a joke, a personal story, introduce their pet, show a special skill, anything that shows their authenticity.
Hi, I'm Ariel Jones, and I am going to be 5 in October 21st. I am 4 right now, and my sister Skylar, she's 7, but she's going to be 8, and I love My Little Pony because it's all about friendship, and they all have different talents. Bye.
And remember, this is something that you can use as your child's demo reel under Actors Access until your child starts working. And parents, you may be asked to step in front of the camera for Zoom callbacks or any in-person callbacks because production wants to get to know you as well before offering the job to your child. They want to make sure that they're not dealing with a crazy stage mom or dad. So this is your opportunity to be authentic. Finally, make sure you get your auditions in earlier than later. Casting director Chase Paris put it best. He said, I normally only get about 5 slots to present to production as the actor we would like to cast. So as the auditions are rolling in, he's filling those 5 spots. So if your child's audition comes in later, it may be as good as the other tapes he's already received, but now it needs to be even better to knock out one of the 5 that he's already selected. So by recording and submitting early, you're actually increasing your chances of your child booking the role. So now you know how to get your child on their way to becoming a working actor. If they don't have representation, I've now shown you a world of possibilities. And even if they do have representation, you can always self-submit for any of these roles on Actors Access as well. And if you are represented and your child does book a job off Actors Access, I always find it a very good rule of thumb to still give commission to your child's representative. It just shows good faith and keeps the relationship moving in the right direction. As always, this is your journey and your decision. But in my experience, agents and managers work incredibly hard in the hopes that your child will book and make them money. They took a chance on your child, so anything you can do to help the team move up as a whole normally works best for your child. This is a relationship, and humans respond positively to trust and kindness. By showing your child's team that you're a team player and not a problem child, will automatically move your child up in their roster. So let's talk about following directions for a moment, because this is vitally important. Casting directors send out auditions with a specific set of instructions. These instructions will often include any directions on how to deliver the character, how many takes to do, how to label your files, how and where to upload your files. If any of these directions are not followed, you run the chance of your child's tapes not being seen because they either get lost in the shuffle with a mislabeled file, or casting is exhausted that you're the 20th person not following directions, and they just throw your audition to the side. It's not because they're mean. Casting directors want your child to book because once they find the person for the role, they're done. They are often actors' biggest cheerleaders. But one of the most common complaints you will hear over and over again from casting directors is that actors and acting parents oftentimes don't follow directions, and it increases their workload substantially. So do your child a favor and read, then reread the instructions to make sure you have it right. And as an added gift to this lesson, I've included casting director Chase Paris and Tara Felstein's taping instructions that they provide with each audition, so you can see in more detail how a casting director will literally spell out directions to actors and parents when requesting an audition. Break a leg.